All right, today we have the owner of Encompass Enterprises, Mr. Gene Benton, and he tells us about everything that Encompass does, which is pretty amazing. They do a ton of work all around the house. They do commercial work. They do epoxy floors. They've got a marine construction division coming up. I probably shouldn't have leaked that because Chris was super anxious to tell everybody about that. I think he waited the whole episode just to talk about marine construction. So check it out, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. See ya.
All right, everybody, welcome. Today we have a special guest here. We have Encompass Enterprises, and Mr. Gene Benton is here today. So welcome. Thank you for coming in. We're going to explore all there is about your business and all the, as we mentioned, it's a lot
on this video.
I know. There's a ton.
So I don't know how we can quickly get through all this.
Maybe we don't.
I'm excited to learn about your company, and which leads me to the question that I typically ask is, what made you start Encompass Enterprises?
My history I started out in senior living. I worked at Asbury Solomons for a long time, larger communities. Then I went into managing communities, facilities departments. My personal family has been in construction all my life. My grandfather came from Italy. He was a stonemason. My other grandfather built houses.
Oh, cool.
So I was kind of born into the trade a little bit. I did the facility stuff because it was kind of where I was, gravitated towards. But I would tell you that over time, I did one facility, then I was a manager over 5 facilities, then I was a manager over 18 facilities, and then it was a vice president over 91 facilities on the East Coast. And I learned so much along the way. And then I worked a little bit for the Navy contractor, did assessments on facilities in Spain and Italy and Africa and Japan and those kind of places. And all of this I felt was kind of just the building blocks to get me to a place where, in all reality, my loving wife basically looked at me and said, "Hey, you're done on the road. You need to be home. You have boys. You need to be here."
Yeah. But so instead of being on the road, you've encompassed literally lots of different opportunities here, and this is kind of cool.
Yeah. So that's basically how Encompass was born. We started out as a small general contractor in the area, as we saw opportunity.
When was that?
About 2015 is when we started.
Okay, so that's still a relatively new company, right?
Yeah.
8 years.
Yeah, and we basically built it on the platform of, what do the clients need? What does the local, what's the local area calling for that isn't really kind of that market or that niche that's been nailed down? And that's kind of how we got into where we're at. I mean, as a general contractor, there's a lot of general contractors, really good ones out there. And I don't necessarily think we compete with anybody. I think it's more of everybody has their niche and their thing that they do. Right. So that's kind of how we went about it.
In construction, when you start, you really you learn something from each opportunity you've been given over your career, right? I mean, I guess it's like any career, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, but you definitely learn a little something here, and you take that with you, and you learn a little something there, and you take it with you, and obviously you're able to implement it into so many different businesses.
Let's go through the menu.
Yeah, I was going to say, why don't you run through it and talk? Let's talk about them.
Our SSD Specialized Service Division, or Handyman Division. I mean, that division started out being they were going to be my punch-out crew. That we get in, get the yeoman's task part of the project done. We get into paint touch-up and that kind of stuff. I bring in the SSD division. And we found very quickly that there was a lot of contractors kind of shied away from the, hey, can you fix my fence, or my door's creaking, or I got
I don't like those little jobs. Let me tell you,
I know.
We get plenty of them.
We get a lot of those.
And that division really grew into its own to where, from a revenue standpoint, it became kind of a leader in the company. So now I fight with them because I'm like, I got punch out to do. They're like, well, we're booked for 2 months. And so I'm being told by my own people, like, I can't fit you in.
That's funny.
Which is really a cool thing. Encompass Door and Awning, basically, we acquired a company, and the director came over and started working for us. Obviously, in probably 80% of our jobs, we're doing garage doors or awnings or something like that. And it just kind of made sense. It was during COVID. The individual and I had long discussions, and we're built kind of as a corporate platform. So they got a lot more resources going underneath the Encompass blanket so that he could take advantage of, financial support and, financial, tracking all the invoices and all that stuff.
Right.
So.
The systems and processes. Yeah.
Right. So we added that on, and that division continues to grow. We have new add-ons that we're doing all the time. We're getting a lot of calls from reps that are saying, hey, can you rep our material and do things for us in the area? So, and
All right, I got to ask you a dumb
Sure.
question. What's the difference? What's a freestanding garage door versus a regular old garage door?
Well,
I'm curious. I just saw it on here. I don't know
got
what
to
it
be
is.
honest, and I had to learn that one as well. So,
Okay.
In DC,
Well, I don't feel bad now.
Well, in DC, there's a lot of places where like a property will back up to an alleyway, and they don't want people to be able to get into their yard or where they park their car, so they're freestanding. And the idea that
It's like on a
Like a
fence.
frame or
yeah,
something?
they're like
Okay.
In a fence.
They're like a
instead of
roll-up
gate,
door.
It's a door.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, Encompass door.
I've never
normally-
heard of it.
Well, and it's something that
I saw that the other day because I had to go up there for my dog.
Yeah.
And the veterinarian hospital was kind of on an alleyway, and there was a house that it had a garage door that went to nothing. Went to the backyard, and I was like, that's really weird.
That's interesting.
Well, and they're roll-up doors all the time. So, I mean, we do a lot of those, and then that kind of takes you into the commercial side because most commercial
Yeah,
is
I can
roll-up
see that.
doors as well.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but in DC, it's a very big thing. I mean, we do a lot of work in that division. DC, Virginia. We've even gone as far as North Carolina.
Wow.
That kind of stuff. There's specialty things that you have to be able to do, and then we get referenced for that.
That's cool.
Encompass Steel Structures, basically we rep Capital Steel out of Denver, Colorado, and if it's a pole building or steel building for commercial or residential, we do those as well.
I can see that being a real,
Big
thing around here.
A lot of people go to like the Amish or
Yeah.
like some of the other folks out
Get
there.
pole barns.
Are you guys pretty competitive with those other local resources that are out there?
Well, I would tell you this, that it's not really from a price point. Going to a steel structure is more a decision of longevity and, from a hurricane standpoint, there's some backup to that because those buildings are all engineered on the steel side.
Got it.
The ones for the Amish is really kind of your pole building, and don't get me wrong, they do an amazing job as well, but you're going to pay less for that than you would for a steel building. The steel building is really...
So you're talking like steel free span, which
Yeah.
essentially that gets you into the commercial side of things.
Yeah, and we've been slow but surely getting into the idea of we're reached out by different companies that are growing and saying, hey, we need a bigger building and what can you offer?
Right.
Interesting.
So we steal them to cap.
I might be able to link up with you on that because I know a few things that are coming down the pike where steel is going to be part of the equation. And until today, I didn't know that you guys did that. So
That's what's cool about this.
that's
Yeah.
why I like
We
doing
learn- we
this.
learn
Yeah.
too.
We learned too along the way. Have you guys done any commercial steel buildings locally?
We haven't locally. We've gone in and retrofitted a few different things. Nothing clear out of the ground at this point. But we're always called about stuff, and what I do is I direct them to Capital Steel. Capital Steel works with them on the design, get it all figured out, then they come to us from a price point. But the good thing is we can help them from the time either they find the ground to the time that we hand them
Nice.
the keys. So we're kind of a turnkey in that aspect. We do a lot with the permitting and getting.
Yeah, that's
through,
excellent.
getting
Yeah.
through
Because that's a
all
big
that
part of it. Like you think it's easy and you're just going to throw a building up, but
Yeah.
we all know
Except
how.
for the $150,000 worth of site work you
Right.
have to do to do it.
Yeah, and it's become, at this point, it's kind of like building partners. Like we have certain civils that we work with, so we know when we call them up, hey, this guy's going to be getting a hold of you. And a lot of people don't have the knowledge or understanding of what they need to do or where they need to go to get the clearances or, that kind of stuff. So we end up with that a lot, residential and commercial, where we help them through that
People
stuff.
don't realize what it takes,
Right.
especially these days.
Not at all. It's so
when
crazy.
you have to do soil boring for every single stormwater device
I
that
know,
you
it's
have
pretty
on the
bad.
property, and then do as-built inspections on every single stormwater device of the property. So talk about getting real. Thank you, State of Maryland, for making everybody's property about $10,000
Mark,
to
it's
$15,000
going to
more
get
expensive.
easier.
Yeah.
It's not going to get
definitely
tougher.
not doing that.
Well, we always end
It's
up
like
being.
you can deal with it or you can move. That's those
Yeah,
are your
right.
options.
Well,
So
most
if you
people-
want to move, you can always call,
Call us, right?
Yeah.
We end up being the bad guy most of the time because people have bought a lot and they go out there and they're like, "Hey, I want to build a house."
Oh, man.
And now the changes with having so many septic fields
That's
and stuff.
why it's important
Yeah.
to
Yep.
have the right realtor.
Yeah,
You're absolutely right.
Because you know what's going to happen is we're going to be calling him saying, "Hey, what can you do with this property?"
Right.
Well, you can build a house this big.
right,
Right in the
I mean,
middle.
if you've got a realtor that has the background,
No,
like
right,
we do,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to let you buy a lemon. And I see it all the time. These properties that are listed, and there's been no due diligence done on the front end. Then a buyer goes in and buys it, and they have no idea what they actually want.
Not to sell us on that, let's sell our side on that, but
Yeah.
it's the relationships, right? It's that thing about you're not paying for the hammer, you're paying for the guy swinging it, right?
Yeah,
You know what I mean, that kind of thing.
exactly.
And like. Very much the same for you. I see you also do it. I saw epoxy surfaces. That's your creative surfaces.
Yeah.
That's kind of neat. I skipped over that one to do this one last. But.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to that one. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
so creative surfaces, basically, we do, and now these are higher level. These aren't the ones like you buy at Lowe's
Yeah, where you
with the
sprinkle
kit
the
and
stuff on it,
sprinkle.
right.
These are full broadcast, that kind of stuff. We do the marble finishes.
Those are really cool.
Yep.
They are cool.
They're really cool. I
And
saw a
then-
house that did that in their basement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just a showpiece.
Yeah.
Was that in St. Leonard?
It was, yeah.
I know the one you're
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah. Great house.
So we do a lot of those. We also do river pour tables where we take, the rough cut lumber from the Amish mills, and then you do like the colored rivers down through the center of
Nice.
them. So we
Those are
build
beautiful.
those as
So you guys
custom.
make them and sell them, or
Yeah.
is that something that you do like on order, like custom?
Like a
order
custom?
It could be customer order. We actually are in the process right now. We try to put out about 2 a month, so that we put those out there, and we're targeting places like Etsy and Pinterest and
Well,
that kind of
if
stuff.
you would like some product, I have the largest silver maple slabs on the East Coast in my possession currently.
Really?
Yep, they're going to the kiln today. So we cut down a tree at my house when we built it, and I got it milled.
No kidding.
My slabs are 60 inches by 14 feet,
Really?
3 inches thick.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd be
And I have-
interested in talking about that.
I have 18 of them, so
That's
What are
nice.
you
they're not
gonna
all
do
that
with those?
big, but a few of them I'm gonna make. Some
He's gonna
stuff
make
for
a
the
table.
house. Yeah, a few of them. I'm not gonna make it because
No,
I'm
it's
not
gotta-
talented
right.
like that. Somebody else is gonna make it. But a few of them we're gonna get done for the property. But then I'm probably gonna be left with I don't know, at least 15
Nice.
slabs that I don't know what to do with. But
Oh,
That's
I know
pretty
what
cool.
you can do with them.
Yeah. I think
get
somebody has some
Just
ideas.
get a hold of me. I mean, I'd be interested
Yeah.
in talking about that.
yeah, cool. Well, good. I'd love to. Move
That's
them
very
all at
cool, though. I
once.
think that's really
So,
cool. And again, it's like I was thinking, forgive me, I was thinking garage floors. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Right.
thinking that. So it's really great that you,
I've seen the
clarify that.
epoxy countertops too. Those can be pretty cool.
I did those years ago. We did there was a thing for doing those they used to do like concrete countertops with the epoxy.
Yeah,
They
we've
were pretty
gotten
cool.
into doing like on front stoops or front porches, concrete porches, like quartz finish as well. Because you can
Wow.
get quartz that's ground up, and then you can use that kind of like the flake is in
So it gives it a texture, so you're
Yeah.
not slipping and
Interesting.
and they have
falling.
like 100 colors. I mean, it's you can
That's
build
pretty
it,
cool,
be
actually.
very unique.
I
with
might
that
look
stuff.
at something like that for my porch.
I think it'd be really cool to have that done. I think that'd be really nice. But
Yeah.
all right, so last, and I saved it for last because
Well,
I think
wait, it's not
did I skip more?
last.
No, it's not more. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Oh, you're right. I'm
I
missing
feel
like
you're
I'm
trying to get us.
No,
out
I
here
thought.
quick,
Okay, look.
Chris.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Does he seem anxious? He seems anxious.
He says I'm
today.
anxious today.
He's like,
So-
I got things to do.
Right.
I said
Come
we
on,
have a
let's get out of here.
schedule, and
Chris
we
is
have.
like, I have a listing appointment at 5:30. We gotta get out of here.
gotta go.
So look, I wanted to touch on this real quick because you put real estate transaction projects, and I venture to say that we have a
few
real
of
estate
those.
following.
We do.
I know there's a handful of realtors that listen to this podcast. From
Just a
time to
few.
time.
Yeah.
So tell me about that.
One of the areas that we've found is that, as partners, we try to be there to help with removing kind of those hurdles along the way. And I know for realtors, you guys have a huge task in front of you anytime you get into the idea of, hey, this is going to go under contract or what have you. And as we know, all houses that come on the market are perfect. There's nothing wrong with them. They meet code, nothing, and they're going to hit the market and just fly no matter what they look like. So a lot of times
You had one? I'm just wondering.
last week we had one.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the thing, realtors will look at clients and say, hey, to get a little bit better money out of this, we're going to probably need to do a little bit of work to spruce it up, maybe paint jobs or, replace some interior doors or fix the doorknobs or the broken windows or things that are going to take that attractiveness off of that property. So,
So you guys do that prep work. Mm-hmm. And then it says inspection punch out stuff too. So you're open to those inspection lists?
Yeah.
Because a lot of contractors don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where my SSD division comes in, because that's who does it. Like if you called and said, hey, I need to get this handrail fixed and I need to get this, this lock isn't working or whatever, or, the fan doesn't work in the bathroom, whatever the thing is that was picked up on inspection, and they say, well, I'm not buying it unless these 3 things are fixed. Then they call us and we try to fit them in as soon as possible.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Definitely.
Makes our life a lot easier too. And the client, when you're selling your house, you want to have somebody who can do that for you, right? And have a realtor that knows somebody like you.
And
that
you
can
want
come.
somebody reputable to come.
Right. That's really important.
And I'll tell you, I don't know how often you deal with this, Chris, but I feel like I go through contractors like crazy.
All the time.
I'll have a good run with somebody.
Yep.
We'll do 20, 30 jobs, and then they do something terribly, and then either they don't make it right, or they don't show up, or
that's so true.
And it's crazy because literally 20, 30 straight that they do a great job,
and
then all of a sudden there's one, they drop the ball and then they run away.
And they don't want.
And then you don't ever want to bring them back.
No, and that's so true. I mean, that's like a thing, and I think the last part you said is making it right. We know there's going to be mistakes along the way, and I think in every construction type business there's room for error, but knowing that you're going to
agent partnership. It's a big deal because, like I tell my clients, the buck stops here.
Right.
So, I have
it's
one
on us
right now where we have 2 different contractors have come in to do an epoxy job on tub and tile in the bathroom, and it is still messed up. And I'm probably going to end up paying someone to gut the bathroom.
I was going to say somebody's redoing a bathroom.
Right. I'm going to lose money on this commission more than likely, but at the end of the day, the buck stops here. So when you have a partnership and somebody that you believe in and can trust and that's not going to run off if things don't go well, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it really is. So that's important.
Yeah, and we try to make sure from a communication standpoint, I don't want to mislead anybody. We make mistakes, and we try to learn from those mistakes. It takes longer sometimes than you expect. It costs a little more than what we expect. But at the end of the day, the communication and the honesty is a big deal.
Yep.
And I will say this to everybody because I've said it to my entire team. I'll lose money before I leave a client in the lurch. That's just the way I am.
Yeah, that's the same. I'm the same exact way.
Yeah, that's really important.
So I was out pressure washing epoxy off of a driveway this morning. Swapping out with the guy who messed it up in the first place. Literally, my clients have cameras too, so I'm sure they saw me out there. I'm like, whatever it takes.
That's the only reason he was
to
doing
get
it.
Right.
There was no cameras.
That's not true. But done it either way. So look, let's bring around to the grand finale, the newest division or up and coming division.
This is what I was holding out for. I don't know. See?
Go ahead.
See, you stole it.
I know. See, you're trying to say, it's okay, Mark. No, don't let me steal your thunder. It's okay. So I see that you guys have a marine construction department.
Yeah, we it's actually an entity of Encompass Enterprises. It's kind of its own company, and we're in the process. We're not up and running yet. It's not legit yet. We're still waiting for that great state of Maryland to help us out and let us get that that license squared away. But overall, we're pretty much ready. We've partnered with High Tide Boat Lifts.
Just saw that.
Yeah, so we'll do PWC boat lifts and regular boat lifts up to huge boats. We'll do new piers, repairs on piers. There are great companies in Southern Maryland that do this work, but
there's not enough of them.
And that's true. That was the challenge.
When you go and you say you want a new pier built, and they say, well, it'll be 2 years before I can get to you.
Yeah.
And that's a reality.
Right.
My neighbor's looking to get theirs done right now. They're going through the permit process with another local company, but same thing. First of all, they don't have their permit yet. When they do get their permit, they told them they're at least 7 months out. So. Yeah. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, that's it. That's something. And like I said, this time of year, people are starting to plan and figure out what they want to have done. And obviously, they aren't going to get it done in 3 or 4 months. But
I like the menu here: boat lift installation, PWC, so personal watercraft, jet skis, boat lift repair, pier installation, pier repair, shoreline restoration, boathouse refurbishment. Boat lift, high tide boat lifts, and then what is Haven Dock and Marine Supply?
So basically, there's a lot of pieces you can put on your dock, lighting and caps and I mean, the sky's the limit. If you can think of it, they probably have that add-on to put on there.
I'll have to check that out.
So
That's kind of cool.
I might
yeah,
end up
we've
spending
been
some money with you. I like cool, tricky stuff.
Like
on
gadgets?
here. Yeah. It's like, oh.
yeah. So all of those things. Like I said, we're not up and running yet. I don't want to. I would love for our phone to ring, but I really don't.
Don't ring
wanna
it yet.
Right.
Don't ring it yet. But we have a big announcement that'll come out whenever it becomes official.
So maybe they should follow you on social or something.
Right.
That's where I was headed.
Facebook.
Facebook, Instagram. We have a Pinterest page. Has a lot of our work on the Pinterest page.
Oh,
I bet that's where you can find the tables and
Yep.
stuff. Nice.
Yeah.
All that stuff's
Nice.
on there. And like I said, I mean, we do have a pretty robust website as well. So if you go to that, you can definitely follow a lot of stuff that we do.
So, I mean, the number will be, it's 443-771-2862. I'm sure we'll
Yep.
put it on the,
Yeah, we'll
on there
get it
somewhere,
here, too.
but,
and you guys were a sponsor today too, and I want you to know that sponsoring our podcast, that's a big deal to Chris and I.
It really is. Thank you
gives
so
us
much.
The ability
Yeah.
to get on here and have the fun that we
and
have.
the BS we do and,
Yeah.
and
Well,
talk.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you both very much.
No, it's really
Yeah.
good. So, with that,
We'll wrap up.
and thank you, Gene, for coming by and
Yeah.
hanging out with us, and we'll see you next week.
Yep. See ya.
Awesome. Thank you.